In an age of hyper-realistic graphics and predatory microtransaction models, there was once a time in 2009 when times were simpler and games were made for fun instead of corporate greed. We were introduced to a true classic that helped begin the horde wave-based shooters that we love today. For many of us, KillingFloor is a name that is a synonym for fun late-night gaming sessions, last stands, and a game that nails the horror atmosphere. It's a game even now feels like lightning in a bottle. While its sequels modernized the formula with faster gameplay and a shinier coat of paint, they never quite captured the same oppressive, terrifying soul of the original. So today we're going back to where it all started to figure out what made it so damn special. Before it was a standalone game, before Tripwire Interactive was the studio we know today, KillingFloor was a mod. It was a beautifully twisted creation for Unreal Tournament 2004, initially led by Alex Quick. But like all great mods, it quickly became a collaborative effort, with a whole team of talented creators turning a simple concept into the co-op wave-based survival horror we'd come to love. The reaction was, to put it mildly, huge. It was raw, brutal, and just ridiculously fun. That success caught the eye of Tripwire Interactive, a studio that also got its start in the modding scene with Red Orchestra, which was also on Unreal Tournament. They saw the potential, brought members of the original mod team on board, and in 2009 released the full retail version to the world. And that origin story is everything, which is rare to hear nowadays. This wasn't a game cooked up in a corporate boardroom to chase a trend, it was a passion project that exploded out of a community. That raw, unrefined energy of a mod is baked into its DNA, from the character models to the physics that send ZEDs flying. But let's be real, KillingFloor 1 is not a pretty game, but it was never trying to be. Its beauty is in its ugliness. The whole vibe is pure grindhouse horror, dark, grimy, and caked in filth. The maps, from the tight corridors of Biotics Lab to the muddy, hopeless expanse of Farm, feel less like a video game and more like a crime scene you were unlucky enough to stumble into. The atmosphere what made so many OG players say that the sequel's lost. KillingFloor 1 is a horror game first, shooter second. The lighting is oppressive, corners are pitch black and not for style, but to hide the things that want to tear you apart. The sound design is a masterclass in building tension. It's a constant symphony of dread, the far-off groan of a clot, the blood-curdling shriek of a siren, or the horrifying metallic scrape of a Scrake's chainsaw echoing down some hallway. And then there's the pace. There is no sprint button, your top speed is pulling out your knife to jog, a move that feels less like a tactical advance and more like a clumsy, desperate scramble. This one design choice changes everything. You can't just train horrors around an open map like in the later games. You are forced to find a spot, weld the doors, and make your stand. It creates a slower, more deliberate, and way more tense experience where committing to a location could be your salvation or your tomb. A hero is only as good as their villains, and KillingFloor's roster of genetic freaks, the ZEDs, are some of the most memorable in gaming. They aren't just mindless zombies, they're a whole toolbox of terror, which each one designed to break your defenses in a special way. First up, you got your trash mobs. The Clot, the game's poster boy, seems harmless until one grabs you, holding you in place while its friends swarm in. Then you have the crawlers, as you would have it, crawling on all fours with a profile so low that landing a headshot is a frantic nightmare. And of course the stalkers, invisible, giggling assassins that only a commando could reliably spot. A single stalker is an annoyance, a pack of them could silently tear an unsuspecting team into pieces. Next we move to the mid-tier threats. The Gorefast with its blade arm and a terrifying charge. The Bloat, a lumbering sack of bile that covers your screen and melts your armor. And the Siren, whose scream chews through your health and destroys your grenades before you can even throw them. Just hearing that shriek is an immediate call to action. Find her and take her down immediately. And finally, you have the big boys, the true panic inducers. The Scrake, a hulking brute with a chainsaw who seems calm until you do enough damage, then he rages into an unstoppable sprinting terror. And then there's the Fleshpound. That guttural roar, the glowing chest, the heavy rhythmic stomps. If you didn't have a coordinated plan and the firepower to pull it off, he would just walk through your team and turn you all into a fine red mist. And crowning them all is the Patriarch, Horzine CEO turned monster. A boss fight that's a true test of a team's coordination, forcing you to burn through his chainsaw and rocket attacks, only for him to cloak, run off, and heal. But to fight this freak show, you had the perks. 6 of them at launch, each with a clear role that demanded actual teamwork. Leveling them was a glorious, unforgiving grind that made you master your class by performing specific actions. The Commando was your trash clearer, a bullet hose who could spot stalkers, and most importantly extend Zed time with their kills, turning a guaranteed wipe into a winnable slow motion ballet of violence. The Sharpshooter was the exact opposite, a master of precision, tasked with one-shotting the most dangerous Zeds before they got close. Nailing a crossbow headshot on a raging Scrake is a feeling of power few games can replicate. Your support specialist was the backbone of any holdout, welding doors at lightning speed and dishing out insane close-range damage with shotguns like the legendary AA-12. The Berserker, meanwhile, was the lunatic who decided a katana was the right tool for a mutant apocalypse, a high-risk, high-reward class that could take damage and hold a doorway all by themselves. Rounding out the team was the Demolitionist, who could erase an entire wave with a few pipe bombs, but could just as easily blow up your own team with one bad shot. And the Firebug, who was specialized in crowd control and causing panic with glorious streams of fire. And finally, the ever-essential Medic, the difference between clutching a wave and a full team wipe, armed with healing darts that could save a teammate from across the room. And how did you get these wonderful toys? The Trader. That blessed 1-minute break between waves was a mad dash for cash and ammo. The friendly and sarcastic voice of the Trader was a brief moment of peace in the middle of all the chaos. Okay, so we do have to talk about the jank. By today's standards, KillingFloor 1 is very, very clunky. The animations are stiff, the hitboxes can feel questionable, and sometimes the physics send a Zed into a bizarre ragdoll spaz. But here's the thing, that's part of the charm. The game's unpolished feel adds directly to the horror. That stiff Fleshpound animation makes its rage charge feels less like a smooth animation and more like a terrifying, unnatural reach towards you. The lack of a simple melee bash or parry means getting cornered is a true death sentence. These aren't just technical limits, they are mechanics of terror. This game does not hold your hand, it punishes tiny mistakes with brutal efficiency. A single claw grabbing you at the wrong time, a missed reload, a door welded 1 second too late, any of it can spiral into a total disaster. This unforgiving design is what made every victory feel so incredible. You didn't just win around a killing floor, you survived it. You earned it with skill, communication, and a healthy amount of pure panic. So why are we still talking about KillingFloor 1, a game that's been technically surpassed by all of its sequels? The reason is because, as mentioned when I made my KillingFloor 3 video, it gave us an experience that was so much more than the sum of its parts. It wasn't just about the shooting or the perks, it was about the atmosphere, the slow, creeping dread, the genuine need for teamwork in a way that feels less common today. KillingFloor 2 is an awesome action game, a high-speed power fantasy of gore and metal, and KillingFloor 3, which launched just last year after a delay, aimed to take the series in a more futuristic direction. But KillingFloor 1 will always be the series' horror masterpiece. It's a time capsule from a different era of co-op design, one that chose desperation over slickness and tension over speed. And even now, you can still find active servers full of veterans and newcomers looking for that same classic brutal challenge. It just proves you don't need perfect polish to create a perfect experience. Sometimes all you need is a dark room, a welded door, and the sheer terror of hearing a Fleshpound roar in the distance. But if you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching, and I would appreciate if you left a like and comment below on your thoughts on KillingFloor 1 and if you still play it to this day. Also, if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you hit the subscribe button for more videos in the future, as well as help me hit 2,500 subs. But thank you guys so much for all the support you show on the channel. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one.